In the quiet corners of the Mushroom Kingdom, there exists a figure dressed in green. Not emerald, not lime, but a particular shade that has become synonymous with something that many of us understand all too well. The second choice. The backup plan. The one who waits patiently while someone else takes the spotlight. His name is Luigi, and his story is not simply one of ghosts and mansions, of jumping and coin collecting. It is a story about fear, about identity, about what it means to exist perpetually in the shadow of someone you love. Tonight, we will drift through the quiet halls of Luigi's life, examining the layers of this character who has, for over 4 decades, captured something profound about the human experience. We will explore not just the games he has appeared in, but the emotional weight he carries, the psychology behind his trembling knees, and the beautiful courage it takes to move forward when you are afraid. So, settle in, dim the lights, and let us begin this gentle journey into the life of gaming's most reluctant hero. The Green Shadow, understanding Luigi's place. Before we delve into the specifics of Luigi's adventures, we must first understand the fundamental truth of his existence. Luigi was born not from a creative desire to tell his story, but from a technical necessity. In 1983, when Nintendo sought to create a 2-player experience for their arcade game Mario Bros., memory limitations meant that the second character could not be visually distinct from the first. And so Luigi came into being, a simple palette swap, identical to Mario in every way except for the color of his overalls and cap. This origin is not merely a piece of trivia. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. From his very first moments of existence, Luigi was defined not by what he was, but by what he was not. He was not Mario. He was the other one. The second one. Player 2. The name itself carries meaning. Shigeru Miyamoto, Mario's creator, derived Luigi's name from the Japanese word Ruigi, which translates to similar. Even in naming him, the intent was clear. Luigi would be the similar one, the one who resembled but did not replace. This linguistic choice, whether intentional or not, set the stage for decades of character development that would wrestle with questions of identity, worth, and purpose. In those early days, Luigi had no personality to speak of. He jumped the same height as Mario. He ran at the same speed. He collected coins with the same enthusiasm. He was, in every functional sense, simply Mario in a different color. But as the years progressed, as technology advanced and game design evolved, something fascinating began to happen. The developers at Nintendo started to give Luigi small differences. Subtle variations that would, over time, coalesce into something far more significant. In Super Mario Bros. 2, released in North America in 1988, Luigi received his first meaningful distinction. He could jump higher than Mario, his legs propelling him to greater heights, though at the cost of traction and control. This single mechanical difference opened a door to possibility. If Luigi could jump differently, perhaps he could be different in other ways as well. Perhaps he could have his own personality, his own quirks, his own fears and dreams. The Japanese version of Super Mario Bros. 2, released earlier as The Lost Levels, further emphasized these differences, giving Luigi his signature higher jump but reduced speed and traction. Players who chose Luigi were making a deliberate choice, opting for a character who handled differently, who required a different approach, who was not simply a cosmetic alternative, but a mechanical one as well. Yet even with these distinctions, Luigi remained in the background. The games were still about Mario. The box art featured Mario. The marketing focused on Mario. When children played together, the older sibling, the more skilled player, the one who owned the console, they chose Mario. Luigi was left for younger siblings, for less experienced friends, for those who arrived second and had to accept what was offered. This dynamic, played out in countless living rooms across the world, became part of Luigi's identity in a way that transcended the games themselves. Luigi became a symbol of the second-born, the overlooked, the one who tries just as hard but receives less recognition. He became, in a strange and beautiful way, more relatable than his famous brother could ever be. Origins. Player 2 from the start. To truly understand Luigi, we must return to the beginning, to that arcade cabinet in 1983, where two plumbers worked together in a bottling plant, fighting off creatures emerging from the pipes below. The game was Mario Brothers, and it was here that Luigi made his debut, though few at the time could have predicted the journey that lay ahead. The arcade version of Mario Bros. Allowed two players to work cooperatively, taking turns to clear screens of enemies. This was an era when cooperation in video games was still a novel concept, when most arcade experiences were solitary affairs or competitive battles. The idea of two brothers working together, supporting each other through increasingly difficult challenges, held a certain charm that resonated with players. But let us consider what it meant to be player 2 in this context. The first player chose Mario, naturally. They inserted their coin first. They had priority on screen. When both players were present, Mario's actions took precedence in the game's logic. Luigi existed in support, helping to clear enemies, providing backup when Mario faltered. This was cooperation, yes, but it was cooperation with a hierarchy built into its foundation. As the games transitioned from arcade to home console, this dynamic only became more pronounced. Super Mario Bros., released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1985, changed the world of video games. It defined what a platformer could be, established conventions that would last for decades, and made Mario a household name. And Luigi? Luigi was there too, available for the second player, identical in ability, present, but unremarkable. Consider the experience of being the younger sibling in this era. You watch your older brother or sister play Super Mario Bros., guiding Mario through the Mushroom Kingdom, rescuing Princess Peach, becoming the hero. And when it's your turn, when you finally get to hold the controller, you're given Luigi. Not because Luigi is special or interesting or better suited to your playstyle, but because you are the second player, because that is what is available to you. This experience shaped a generation's understanding of Luigi. He became associated not with heroism or adventure, but with waiting, with watching, with being second choice. And yet, paradoxically, this also made him beloved to those who occupied that space in their own lives. Luigi became a patron saint of younger siblings, a symbol of those who support from the shadows, who contribute without receiving credit, who love someone enough to let them shine brighter. The developers at Nintendo, whether consciously or not, began to lean into this characterization. In Super Mario Bros. 3, released in 1988 for the Famicom and 1990 for the NES, Luigi retained his identical abilities to Mario in the main game, but something was different. The way he was portrayed in artwork, the way his character was framed in instruction manuals, began to suggest a personality distinct from his brothers. He seemed slightly more nervous, slightly less confident, slightly more uncertain about the adventures ahead. Super Mario World, released for the Super Nintendo in 1990, continued this trend. While Luigi still controlled identically to Mario in the original version, the remake included in Super Mario All-Stars gave Luigi his higher jump and lower traction, characteristics that would become permanent parts of his identity. More significantly, Luigi was given a slightly different sprite animation, a unique visual identity that, while subtle, marked him as his own character rather than simply a recolored Mario. But even with these changes, Luigi remained defined primarily by what he was not. He was not the hero. He was not the one Princess Peach asked for. He was not the face of Nintendo. He was the helper, the sidekick, the one who stood slightly to the side in group pictures. And for many years, this was enough. Luigi had a role, and he fulfilled it admirably. It was not until the late 1990s and early 2000s that Luigi would begin to truly step out of his brother's shadow. As the Nintendo 64 gave way to the GameCube, as polygons replaced sprites and stories became more complex, space opened for Luigi to become something more. The developers recognized that there was untapped potential in this character, that audiences had affection for the nervous plumber in green that went beyond mere nostalgia. The question became, who was Luigi really? If he was not simply Mario's copy, if he was his own person with his own thoughts and feelings, what drove him? What did he fear? What did he dream about? The answers to these questions would emerge slowly, carefully, through a series of games that would redefine Luigi's place in the Nintendo pantheon. But before we explore those transformative experiences, we must first understand the foundation that had been laid. Luigi's early years, his time as a simple palette swap and cooperative second player, were not wasted years. They were formative years. They established the core tension that would define his character moving forward, the push and pull between his desire to be his own person and his love for his brother, between his fear of danger and his courage in facing it, between living in shadow and stepping into light. Every journey begins with a single step, and Luigi's journey began with being player 2. Everything that followed, all the growth and development and discovery, emerged from that humble origin. Understanding this is crucial to understanding Luigi himself, to appreciating the weight of his story and the significance of his struggle. The development of Luigi's identity. As we move forward through the decades, we see Luigi slowly, gradually, almost imperceptibly at first, beginning to develop an identity separate from his brother. This was not a sudden transformation, not a single moment where Luigi became his own character. Rather, it was an accumulation of small choices, subtle differences, careful development across multiple games and multiple years. The 1990s saw Luigi appearing in an ever-expanding roster of Mario spin-off games. Super Mario Kart, released in 1992, featured Luigi as a playable character with statistics similar to Mario's, but with slight variations. He was in the same weight class, handled similarly, but felt just different enough that some players preferred him. This was significant, representing the first time that choosing Luigi was not simply accepting what was left over, but making an actual preference based on gameplay feel. Mario Kart 64, released in 1996, continued this trend. Luigi maintained his status as a middleweight character, balancing speed and acceleration in ways that paralleled Mario, but with subtle distinctions that dedicated players could feel and exploit. The game also began to give Luigi more personality in small touches, his victory animations showing a slightly different energy than Mario's, a suggestion of insecurity mixed with pride when he won. The Mario Party series, beginning in 1998, provided opportunities for Luigi to interact with other characters in ways that began to suggest a personality. While the games themselves did not feature extensive dialogue or characterization, the animations and interactions hinted at someone who was friendly, slightly anxious, eager to please, but uncertain of his place. These were small touches, but they accumulated. Meanwhile, the Super Smash Bros. Series, debuting in 1999 on the Nintendo 64, made Luigi's differences from Mario more pronounced in ways that were impossible to ignore. In Smash, Luigi was not merely a character who jumped higher and had less traction. He had entirely different special moves, different attack animations, different strengths and weaknesses. His fireballs behaved differently, traveling straight rather than bouncing. His jump featured a unique animation. His up special, a rising uppercut rather than a coin-collecting punch, became one of the most satisfying moves in the game when it connected. Most tellingly, Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001 for the GameCube, introduced Luigi's taunt, a kick that could actually damage opponents. This was unprecedented, a taunt that functioned as an attack, however weak. It was Luigi's taunt, specifically, that had this property. This single detail suggested something about Luigi's character, a hidden strength, a capability that others might overlook because they were focused on more obvious, more flashy abilities. But it was also in Melee that we received one of the most significant pieces of Luigi characterization to date. Luigi's trophy description mentioned his brother, yes, but it also described Luigi as being a bit nervous and prone to mishaps. This was huge. This was Nintendo explicitly stating that Luigi was not simply Mario with different colors. He had a distinct personality, and that personality included nervousness and clumsiness. This characterization aligned with something that had been emerging in Luigi's physical design and animation. In Super Mario 64 DS, released in 2004, Luigi's movement animations showed him as lanky and slightly ungainly, his limbs moving in ways that suggested uncertainty. When he ran, he seemed to flail slightly. When he jumped, his form was not as compact as Mario's. These were not flaws in the animation. They were deliberate choices that reinforced Luigi's character as someone less naturally athletic, less inherently confident than his brother. The various Mario sports titles continued to develop Luigi's personality through subtle touches. In Mario Tennis, he celebrated victories with reserved pleasure, his excitement tempered by something approaching surprise, as if he could not quite believe he had won. In Mario Golf, his animations suggested someone who was technically skilled but lacked the natural flair that Mario exhibited. In every appearance, Luigi was capable, competent even, but always with that slight edge of uncertainty, that suggestion that he was performing despite his fears rather than because he lacked them. This accumulation of small details across dozens of games created a composite picture of Luigi's character. He was Mario's brother, yes, but he was also his own person. He was kind, loyal, supportive. He was slightly anxious, prone to nervousness, not naturally brave. He was skilled and capable, but often overlooked. He tried hard, perhaps harder than Mario, because things did not come as easily to him. He was, in short, deeply, recognizably human in ways that Mario's idealized heroism could not match. But all of these details, all of this careful character development, was background to the main Mario games, supplementary material that enriched Luigi's character but did not define it. Luigi had been given depth and nuance, yes, but he still existed primarily in support of Mario's adventures. He appeared in these games, he had his own identity, but he did not yet have his own story. That would change in 2001 with the release of a game that would transform Luigi from a supporting character into a protagonist, that would take his nervousness and his fear and make them central to the experience rather than incidental to it. That game was Luigi's Mansion, and it deserves its own extended consideration, for it is here that Luigi truly becomes himself. Fear as character, the mansion of ghosts. Picture this. You receive a letter in the mail informing you that you have won a mansion in a contest you never entered. Already, something is wrong. Already, there should be alarm bells. But you are excited, perhaps even proud, and you call your brother to share the good news. You arrange to meet at this mansion, this prize you have somehow won. And when you arrive, in the dark, in the woods, the mansion is not the cheerful building from the promotional photograph. It is sinister. It is wrong. It looms in the darkness like a threat. This is how Luigi's Mansion begins, and it is perfect. Everything about this setup speaks to Luigi's character, to his fears, to the situation he finds himself in. He did not seek this adventure. He did not volunteer for heroism. It found him, or rather, it was thrust upon him through deception. King Boo, the antagonist, created this entire scenario specifically to trap Luigi and his brother as revenge for past defeats. The mansion itself is an illusion, conjured by King Boo's power, filled with portrait ghosts that Professor E. Gadd had previously captured and turned into paintings. Luigi enters the mansion and immediately encounters a ghost. His reaction is instinctive, primal. He falls backward in terror, backing away from the supernatural threat. This is not hero's courage. This is genuine fear. And it is in this moment of vulnerability that Luigi's story truly begins. Professor E. Gadd rescues Luigi from this initial encounter and brings him back to his laboratory. The professor explains the situation. Ghosts have been freed from their paintings and now haunt the mansion. Mario is trapped somewhere inside, captured by King Boo and imprisoned within a portrait. And Luigi, despite his fear, despite every instinct telling him to run, accepts the Poltergust 3000 and enters the mansion to save his brother. This decision, this choice to move forward despite terror, is the defining characteristic of Luigi's heroism. He is not fearless. He is very much afraid. Throughout the entire game, Luigi shivers, whimpers, calls out for Mario in a trembling voice. When lightning flashes, he jumps. When ghosts appear, he recoils. His fear is not something he overcomes through willpower or courage in the traditional sense. Rather, his love for his brother, his loyalty, is stronger than his fear. Not strong enough to eliminate the fear, but strong enough to act despite it. The Poltergust 3000, a modified vacuum cleaner, becomes Luigi's weapon against the supernatural. There is something wonderfully absurd about this, something that speaks to Luigi's character. He is not wielding a sword or a magical artifact. He is using a domestic appliance, modified for ghost hunting. It is unglamorous, unusual, and somehow perfectly suited to Luigi's slightly awkward nature. The gameplay of Luigi's Mansion revolves around exploration and puzzle solving, with Luigi slowly uncovering the mansion's secrets room by room. Each portrait ghost has a specific method to defeat them, requiring observation, patience, and timing. Luigi must expose their hearts with his flashlight before vacuuming them into the poltergust. This mechanic reinforces Luigi's character beautifully. He is not overpowering these ghosts through strength. He is capturing them through careful observation and persistence. What makes Luigi's Mansion so effective as a character study is how it never lets you forget Luigi's fear. His animations throughout the game are masterclasses in conveying emotion. When entering a dark room, Luigi tiptoes, his body tense, ready to flee at any moment. When a ghost appears suddenly, Luigi visibly startles, his eyes wide. When things go quiet for too long, Luigi begins to hum to himself, the nervous tune of someone trying to maintain courage in the face of fear. Most tellingly, Luigi calls out for Mario throughout the mansion. "Mario!" he cries, his voice echoing through empty halls. It is plaintive, worried, the call of someone who is out of their depth and knows it. He is not here because he wants to be. He is here because someone he loves is in danger, and that love compels him to continue despite everything in him screaming to flee. The game's ending is particularly significant for Luigi's characterization. After defeating King Boo and rescuing Mario, Luigi discovers that the mansion itself disappears, revealed to have been an illusion all along. Professor E. Gadd uses the treasure Luigi collected throughout his adventure to build him a real mansion, the size and grandeur of which depends on how much treasure the player found. This reward is touching in its simplicity. Luigi went through hell, faced his deepest fears, saved his brother, and his reward is a home, a place of safety and comfort. But perhaps more important than the physical reward is what Luigi gains in terms of self-knowledge and growth. He proved to himself that he could face his fears, that he could be a hero when circumstances demanded it. This was not about being fearless. It was about being brave enough to act despite fear, about love being stronger than terror, about taking that next step forward even when every instinct screams to run backward. Luigi's Mansion was a commercial and critical success, but more importantly, it established Luigi as a character who could carry his own game, who had a story worth telling that was distinct from Mario's adventures. The game was unlike any other in the Mario franchise, slower paced, more focused on atmosphere and exploration than pure platforming action. It was perfectly suited to Luigi's character, allowing his personality to shine in ways that a traditional Mario platformer never could. The game also cemented Luigi's association with ghosts and haunted locations. From this point forward, whenever Luigi appeared in a supernatural context, it was with the implicit understanding that this was Luigi's domain, however reluctantly he claimed it. He was the ghost hunter, the one who faced the undead armed with nothing but a vacuum cleaner and shaking knees. But Luigi's Mansion did something else, something equally important. It showed Nintendo, showed the developers and the marketing teams and the executives that there was an audience hungry for Luigi's story. Players did not just tolerate playing as Luigi, they actively wanted to play as him, wanted to see him succeed, wanted to cheer for the underdog who trembled his way to victory. This lesson would take time to fully manifest. Luigi's Mansion was released in 2001, but it would be 12 years before the next entry in the series, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, arrived on the Nintendo 3DS in 2013. That game, and its sequel, Luigi's Mansion 3 in 2019, would continue to develop Luigi's character and his relationship with fear. But they built on the foundation that the original game established. In Dark Moon, Luigi is once again reluctantly pulled into supernatural adventures by Professor E. Gadd. This time, the Dark Moon, a celestial object that kept the ghosts of Evershade Valley peaceful, has been shattered by King Boo, turning friendly ghosts hostile. Luigi must explore 5 different mansions, each with its own theme and challenges, collecting pieces of the Dark Moon to restore peace. The mission structure of Dark Moon made Luigi's reluctance more pronounced. E. Gadd repeatedly teleports Luigi into dangerous situations, and Luigi's reactions make it clear that he would very much like to opt out of this entire arrangement. But he continues, mission after mission, facing ghosts and solving puzzles, because it is the right thing to do, because someone needs to fix this problem, and that someone, for better or worse, is him. Luigi's Mansion 3 took this formula and expanded it significantly. Set in a haunted hotel called The Last Resort, Luigi must rescue his friends from King Boo and the hotel's owner, Helen Gravely. The game introduces Gooigi, an ectoplasmic doppelganger of Luigi created by Professor E. Gadd, allowing for cooperative play and puzzle solving that requires controlling both Luigi and his gooey counterpart. What is particularly interesting about Luigi's Mansion 3 is how it acknowledges Luigi's growth while maintaining his fearful nature. He is more experienced now, having faced ghosts multiple times. He knows what to expect. But that knowledge does not make him fearless. If anything, knowing what he is about to face makes the fear more acute. He knows it is going to be terrible, and he does it anyway. This is the essence of courage, and it is Luigi's defining trait. Not the absence of fear, but action in the face of it. Not confidence that he will succeed, but determination to try regardless. Not the flashy heroism of someone who was born to this, but the stumbling, uncertain heroism of someone who simply keeps moving forward because the alternative is unthinkable. The Luigi's Mansion series gave Luigi something that no other franchise had fully provided: a space where his personality, his fears, his character could be central to the experience rather than incidental to it. These games are not just games that star Luigi. They are games about Luigi, games that could not exist in the same form with any other character. They are deeply, fundamentally, about what it means to be afraid and to act anyway, about loyalty and love and the quiet courage that often goes unnoticed. The Shadow of Mario, Brotherhood and Rivalry. To understand Luigi's fear, to truly grasp the weight he carries, we must examine his relationship with Mario. This is not a simple dynamic. It is layered, complex, filled with love and admiration and support, but also tinged with jealousy, comparison, and the fundamental unfairness of living in someone else's shadow. The games themselves give us glimpses of this complexity, but we must piece together the full picture from multiple sources. In Paper Mario, the first game in the Paper Mario series released in 2000, Luigi has a diary that Mario can discover. In it, Luigi writes about his adventures while Mario was away, embellishing them significantly, turning minor encounters into grand battles. This could be read as simple comedic exaggeration, but there is something melancholy beneath it. Luigi wants his adventures to matter, wants them to be significant, wants to be seen as a hero rather than a helper. More tellingly, in one entry, Luigi writes, "I wonder if Mario ever worries about me." This single line speaks volumes. Luigi worries about Mario constantly. Mario is always in Luigi's thoughts, always a presence in his life, even when physically absent. But Luigi wonders if that concern is reciprocated, if Mario thinks about him with the same frequency and intensity. The diary does not provide an answer to Luigi's question, leaving it hanging in the air, unanswered and perhaps unanswerable. The Mario and Luigi RPG series, beginning with Superstar Saga in 2003, provided more insight into the brothers' relationship through the game's premise and mechanics. In these games, Mario and Luigi adventure together, their success dependent on their cooperation and coordination. The games emphasize their bond, showing them as a unit, stronger together than either could be apart. But even here, in games explicitly about their partnership, certain dynamics emerge. In battle, Mario's turn comes first. Mario is typically positioned as the leader, with Luigi following slightly behind as they traverse the world. The game's stories often revolve around Mario, with Luigi present but secondary. And in several games in the series, there are moments where other characters forget Luigi's name or fail to recognize him, while Mario is universally known and celebrated. These moments are usually played for comedy, but they accumulate to create a picture of Luigi's experience. He is there, he is helping, he is essential to success, and yet he is overlooked, forgotten, mistaken for someone else. The joke is supposed to be that the other characters are foolish for not recognizing Luigi, but the underlying message is darker. Luigi is so consistently in Mario's shadow that even when standing right in front of people, even when actively saving the world, he can be invisible. Mario and Luigi Dream Team, released in 2013 for the Nintendo 3DS, provides perhaps the most direct exploration of Luigi's psychology through the mechanic of entering Luigi's dreams. In his dreams, Luigi can become Giant Luigi, a towering, confident version of himself who battles massive enemies without fear. But these dreams also contain darker elements. In Dreams Deep, the core of Luigi's subconscious, we find thoughts scattered throughout the environment. Many of these thoughts are about Mario, worry for Mario, determination to help Mario. The thoughts include phrases like, "Big bro in danger," and "I gotta help my bro." These reveal Luigi's core motivation, the thing that drives him forward through fear and uncertainty. But they also reveal the centrality of Mario in Luigi's self-conception. Luigi's identity is bound up with being Mario's brother, with helping Mario, with supporting Mario. Even in his own dreams, in the most private recesses of his mind, Mario is present, is primary, is the focus. This is not to suggest that Mario does not care about Luigi. The games show numerous instances of Mario's love for his brother. In Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, when the Stargate insults Luigi and refuses to let him pass, calling him unworthy, Mario becomes angry. Both present-day Mario and Baby Mario defend Luigi, with Baby Mario even striking the gate with his hammer in outrage. The gate later reveals this was a test, that it was measuring the strength of their bond, and they passed by standing up for each other. In Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, Princess Lipid offers Mario a choice between a treasure of everlasting wonder or Luigi. Mario chooses Luigi instantly, without hesitation or consideration of the alternative. This moment, brief as it is, speaks to Mario's priorities. He values his brother above material wealth, above power, above anything a treasure could offer. But these moments of clear affection do not erase the fundamental dynamic at play. Mario is the hero. Mario is the one Princess Peach calls for. Mario is the one whose name is on the games, whose face is on the merchandise, who children dress up as for Halloween. And Luigi, no matter how much Mario might love him, no matter how essential he might be to Mario's success, remains the second one. The helper, the sidekick. This dynamic is explored most explicitly in Super Paper Mario, through Luigi's transformation into Mr. L. When Luigi is brainwashed by Count Bleck's minion Nastasia, he becomes Mr. L, a cocky, confident antagonist who serves as a recurring boss fight. Mr. L is everything Luigi is not. He is arrogant where Luigi is humble. He is boastful where Luigi is uncertain. He craves attention and recognition, constantly referring to himself as the Green Thunder and demanding that others acknowledge his greatness. Mr. L's personality, while influenced by brainwashing, can be read as an exaggeration of traits that already existed within Luigi. The desire for recognition, the frustration at being overlooked, the wish to be seen as great, as powerful, as worthy of respect. These feelings, suppressed and managed in normal Luigi, are unleashed and amplified in Mr. L. Most tellingly, the Dark Prognosticos, an ancient book of prophecy, refers to the man in green, who will determine the fate of all worlds. This prophecy can go two ways. Luigi can be the hero who saves the world, or the vessel through which it is destroyed. This duality speaks to something within Luigi's character, a potential for darkness born from his circumstances, from the weight of living in shadow, from the accumulation of small slights and forgotten contributions. That Luigi ultimately becomes the hero, that he fights alongside Mario and the others to save the world, is significant. It shows that Luigi's core nature, his kindness and loyalty and love, is stronger than any bitterness or resentment. But the fact that he was chosen as the potential host for ultimate evil by the Dark Prognosticus suggests that those darker feelings exist, that the potential for them to consume him is real. In Dementio's final plan, Luigi is merged with the Chaos Heart, becoming Super Dementio, the game's final boss. This form is monstrous, a twisted combination of Luigi's form and Dementio's jester aesthetics, puppet-like and wrong. Defeating Super Dimencio requires the combined effort of Mario, Princess Peach, and Bowser, supported by Count Bleck's former minions. It is only through the power of love, through the pure hearts, that Luigi can be freed and restored to himself. This entire arc in Super Paper Mario presents Luigi not as a simple supporting character, but as someone with depth, with inner conflict, with the capacity for both great good and great harm, depending on circumstances and choices. It is a remarkably sophisticated treatment of his character, acknowledging the weight of his position without excusing any potential corruption that might arise from it. The relationship between Mario and Luigi, then, is one of genuine love existing alongside real tension. They are brothers in the fullest sense of the word, bound by blood and history and shared experience. They support each other, defend each other, would sacrifice for each other without hesitation. But they also exist in an unequal dynamic, where one is always first and the other always second, where one receives praise and the other receives acknowledgement, where one is the hero and the other is the hero's brother. This dynamic is not unique to Mario and Luigi. It reflects real sibling relationships, real family structures, real experiences of people across the world. Younger siblings grow up in the shadows of older siblings, watching them receive attention and praise for things that come easily to them, while struggling to achieve the same recognition for their own efforts. This is not because the older sibling is better or more deserving necessarily, but simply because they were born first, because they had a head start, because the dynamics of family and social structures favor primacy. Luigi's relationship with Mario, then, is not just about two video game characters. It is about the universal experience of comparison, of living in someone else's shadow, of struggling to establish your own identity when you are always defined in relation to someone else. It is about loving someone deeply, while also, occasionally, resenting the ease with which they navigate a world that seems determined to make you feel inadequate. This complexity is what makes Luigi such a compelling character. His relationship with Mario is not simple or uncomplicated. It is messy and real and true to life. And it is from this relationship, from this fundamental tension, that much of Luigi's fear and insecurity flows. Luigi's personality more than cowardice. When we speak of Luigi's personality, the first word that often comes to mind is cowardly. He is afraid of ghosts. He trembles at danger. He would much rather stay home than venture into another adventure. This is all true, but it is not the whole truth. Reducing Luigi to his fear does him a disservice and misses the richness of his character. Luigi is kind. This trait appears consistently across every game he appears in. He is gentle with animals, polite to strangers, considerate of others' feelings. In Luigi's Mansion 3, Luigi can interact with a variety of objects in the environment, and his reactions often show a caring, thoughtful nature. He admires nice decorations, expresses concern over messes, appreciates cleanliness and order. These are small touches, but they paint a picture of someone who pays attention to his surroundings, who notices details, who cares about the state of the world around him. Luigi is loyal. This is perhaps his most defining characteristic after his fear. His loyalty to Mario drives most of his adventures. He enters haunted mansions to save his brother. He journeys into his brother's dreams to help him. He stands by Mario's side in battle after battle, game after game, never wavering in his support, even when overlooked or forgotten by others. This loyalty extends beyond Mario. Luigi is loyal to his friends, to Princess Peach, to the Mushroom Kingdom itself. When duty calls, Luigi answers, even when he wishes he could not. Luigi is humble. He does not boast about his accomplishments. He does not seek recognition or praise. When he achieves something remarkable, His reaction is often surprise mixed with relief rather than pride. This humility is partly born from his position as the second brother, but it is also a genuine aspect of his character. Luigi does not have an inflated sense of self-importance. He sees himself clearly, including his flaws and limitations, and this self-awareness keeps him grounded. Luigi is determined. Despite his fear, despite his reluctance, Luigi perseveres. He does not give up. He does not quit. When knocked down, he gets back up. When faced with seemingly insurmountable obstacles, he finds a way forward. This determination is not flashy or dramatic. It is quiet, persistent, the steady forward momentum of someone who simply refuses to stop trying. This is courage in its purest form, not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear dictate one's actions. Luigi is intelligent. The Luigi's Mansion games require observation and puzzle solving, and Luigi is more than capable of both. He figures out how to capture specific ghosts by watching their patterns and identifying their weaknesses. He solves environmental puzzles, manipulates objects with his poltergust, navigates complex mansions and hotels with only a map and his wits. Mr. L, his brainwashed alter ego, displays impressive mechanical skill by building and piloting robots. This suggests that Luigi possesses technical knowledge and capability that simply do not get showcased as often as they could. Luigi is sensitive. He cries easily when upset or scared. He reacts strongly to emotional situations. This sensitivity is often played for comedy, but it also speaks to Luigi's emotional depth. He is not emotionally stunted or repressed. He feels things deeply and is not afraid to show those feelings. In a landscape of video game characters who often default to stoic toughness, Luigi's willingness to be emotionally vulnerable is refreshing and humanizing. Luigi is imaginative. His dreams, as explored in Mario and Luigi Dream Team, are vibrant and surreal, filled with creative imagery and unexpected elements. This imagination serves him well in puzzle solving and adaptation. When faced with unusual situations, Luigi can think creatively to find solutions. His approach to problems is often different from Mario's, not better or worse necessarily, but distinct, showing a unique perspective born from his particular way of seeing the world. But yes, Luigi is also afraid. This fear is central to his character and should not be downplayed or dismissed. Luigi is genuinely terrified of ghosts and supernatural phenomena. He jumps at loud noises. He trembles in dark places. His fear is not exaggerated for effect or played up for comedy, at least not entirely. It reads as authentic, as something he genuinely experiences and struggles with. What makes Luigi's fear interesting is how he manages it. He does not let it stop him, but neither does he overcome it through sheer force of will. Instead, Luigi carries his fear with him, acknowledging it, feeling it fully, and moving forward regardless. This is a sophisticated treatment of fear that respects both its power and the human capacity to act despite it. Clinical psychologists have examined Luigi's character in the context of anxiety and fear responses. One analysis noted that Luigi's repeated exposure to ghosts across multiple games should, theoretically, lead to desensitization, reducing his fear response through habituation. The fact that Luigi remains afraid, that he continues to experience that visceral terror even after successfully capturing hundreds of ghosts, suggests something interesting about his psychology. One interpretation is that Luigi's fear is not irrational in the clinical sense. Ghosts are genuinely dangerous in the world of the Mushroom Kingdom. They can harm, possess, and trap living beings in paintings. Luigi's fear, then, is a rational response to real danger. The fact that he acts despite this rational assessment of risk makes his courage more impressive, not less. Another interpretation is that Luigi's fear serves a protective function, keeping him alert and cautious in dangerous situations. Where Mario might rush headlong into danger, confident in his ability to handle whatever comes, Luigi approaches more carefully, more thoughtfully, potentially reducing his chances of being caught off guard or making rash decisions. A third interpretation, darker but no less valid, is that Luigi's continued fear, despite repeated successes, suggests a kind of learned helplessness or persistent anxiety that cannot be reasoned away through positive experiences. This would make Luigi a character dealing with anxiety as an ongoing condition rather than a temporary response to specific situations. This reading, while perhaps not intended by the developers, resonates with people who struggle with anxiety disorders, who cannot simply overcome their fears through exposure or positive thinking, who manage rather than cure their condition. Regardless of which interpretation we find most compelling, the fact remains that Luigi's fear is complex, multi-layered, and thoughtfully portrayed. It is not simply a character trait to be mocked or a flaw to be overcome. It is part of who Luigi is, woven into the fabric of his being, affecting how he moves through the world and interacts with it. Luigi's personality, then, is a rich mix of traits that create a fully realized character. He is kind, loyal, humble, determined, intelligent, sensitive, imaginative, and yes, afraid. He is not reducible to any single characteristic. He is, instead, a complete person, as complex and contradictory as any of us, struggling with his limitations while trying to live up to his values, loving deeply while feeling inadequate, achieving remarkable things while doubting his ability to do so. This complexity is why Luigi has endured as a character for over 4 decades. He is not simply Mario with a different color palette. He is his own person, with his own story, his own struggles, his own particular way of being in the world. And millions of people across generations have seen themselves in him, have recognized their own fears and insecurities and hidden strengths in this nervous plumber dressed in green. The Dark Mirror, Mr. L, and the Man in Green. In Super Paper. Mario, released for the Wii in 2007, Luigi undergoes a transformation that reveals hidden aspects of his character. When Count Bleck captures Luigi and his minion Nastasia brainwashes him, Luigi becomes Mr. L, the Green Thunder, a cocky antagonist who serves as a recurring boss fight. This alternate version of Luigi, though created through external manipulation, offers fascinating insights into Luigi's psyche and the potential darkness that living in shadow can create. Mr. L dresses in black rather than green, though he retains the large buttons on his outfit reminiscent of Luigi's overalls. He wears a black mask over his eyes, obscuring his identity, though his distinctive mustache and build make him obviously Luigi to any observant player. Interestingly, the other characters in the game do not recognize him as Luigi, despite the minimal disguise. Mario finds him familiar but cannot place him. This failure of recognition is almost painful in its implications. Luigi can stand directly in front of his brother, separated only by a simple mask and a color change, and Mario does not immediately recognize him. Mr. L's personality stands in stark contrast to Luigi's normal demeanor. Where Luigi is humble, Mr. L is boastful. Where Luigi is uncertain, Mr. L is supremely confident. Where Luigi avoids attention, Mr. L demands it, constantly referring to himself by his chosen moniker and insisting that others acknowledge his greatness. He is theatrical, posing dramatically, speaking with bravado, radiating, an energy that normal Luigi rarely, if ever, displays. This personality shift can be attributed to Nastasia's brainwashing, yes, but the specific form it takes is significant. The brainwashing did not turn Luigi into a mindless drone or a carbon copy of other villains. Instead, it manifested as an exaggerated, inverted version of Luigi himself. This suggests that the qualities Mr. L displays, the confidence and desire for recognition, exist somewhere within Luigi, suppressed under layers of humility and self-doubt. Mr. L builds robots, massive mechanical constructs he calls brobots, which he pilots into battle. These robots are sophisticated creations, requiring significant technical knowledge and skill to construct. Mr. L refers to his craft as brobotics, presenting it with the pride of someone who has mastered a difficult discipline. This mechanical aptitude has not been prominently displayed in Luigi's normal adventures, but it suggests untapped capabilities, skills that Luigi possesses, but rarely has the opportunity or confidence to demonstrate. In his boss battles, Mr. L is genuinely formidable. He is not a joke villain to be easily dismissed. He presents a real threat, using a combination of jumping attacks and his brobot's weaponry to battle Mario and his companions. There is something tragic about this. Luigi, freed from his usual personality constraints by brainwashing, becomes a powerful adversary, someone who commands respect through strength and skill. It raises uncomfortable questions about what Luigi might be capable of if he were not held back by his fears and insecurities. The Dark Prognosticus, the ancient book of dark prophecy that drives Super Paper Mario's plot, specifically mentions the Man in Green as key to its fulfillment. Count Bleck quotes the prophecy, "The man in green shall use the Chaos Heart's power to bring darkness to all." This prophecy identifies Luigi not just as a participant in the story, but as a pivotal figure whose actions will determine the fate of all worlds. The Light Prognosticus, the counterpart book of Light Prophecy, also references the Man in Green, though it suggests he will be a hero rather than a destroyer. Both prophecies acknowledge Luigi's importance while disagreeing on his ultimate role. He stands at a crossroads, capable of either path, his choices determining not just his own fate, but that of all existence. This framing of Luigi as a figure of destiny, someone whose nature and choices matter on a cosmic scale, is unprecedented in his portrayal. Usually, Luigi's importance is tied to his relationship with Mario, to his role as helper and support. But the prophecies of Super Paper Mario suggest that Luigi has an independent significance, a potential that exists separate from his brother. When Dementio, the game's true villain, reveals himself and enacts his master plan, he chooses Luigi as his instrument. He plants a seed in Luigi's mind, a florosprout that will grow and allow Dementio to control him. When the moment comes, Luigi once again becomes Mr. L, but this time the transformation goes further. Dementio merges Mr. L with the Chaos Heart, the destructive force at the center of the game's conflict, creating Super Dementio. Super Dementio is a monstrous entity, a towering puppet-like figure that combines elements of Dementio's appearance with a corrupted version of Luigi's form. It is disturbing to look at, wrong in a way that few Mario series villains achieve. Luigi's face appears on the creature, but distorted, his features stretched across an inhuman canvas. His characteristic green is present, but sickly, corrupted by Dementio's purple and black. This final form represents the ultimate corruption of Luigi's potential, the prophecy of darkness fulfilled. Super Dementio is the most powerful enemy in Super Paper Mario, possessing abilities that make him practically invulnerable to normal attacks. It is only through the power of the pure hearts, manifestations of love provided by the reformed Count Bleck and his companions, that Mario and his team can damage Super Dementio at all. The battle against Super Dementio is heartbreaking when you consider the context. Mario is fighting his own brother, corrupted and transformed into something monstrous. Luigi, in this form, cannot recognize his brother, cannot call for help, cannot do anything but serve as a vessel for Dementio's will. It is a violation, a theft of identity and agency. And the only way to save Luigi is to defeat him. When Super Dementio is finally destroyed, when the Chaos Heart is neutralized and Dementio's spirit dissipates, Luigi returns to his normal form, unconscious and unaware of what he has been through. He has no memory of being Mr. L or Super Dementio. For him, there is a gap, a missing time where he was not himself. The implications of this are troubling. Luigi was used, his body puppeted, his potential twisted for another's purposes, and he will never fully understand what was done to him. The Mr. L arc raises questions about Luigi's inner life that the games do not fully answer. How much of Mr. L's personality was created by brainwashing, and how much was drawn from Luigi's existing psyche? Does Luigi harbor resentment about his position that he normally suppresses? Would Luigi, given the confidence and freedom from fear, become someone more like Mr. L? Are the prophecies about the man in green commenting on Luigi's potential for growth, or warning about the dangers of corrupted ambition? These questions do not have clear answers, and perhaps they are not meant to. Mr. L exists as a dark mirror, showing what Luigi might be under different circumstances, with different influences, down different paths. He represents the road not taken, the shadow self that exists within all of us, the version of ourselves that might emerge if our darker impulses were given free rein. But it is crucial to note that when Luigi is freed, when he is restored to himself, he immediately returns to his normal personality. There is no lingering corruption, no gradual slide toward Mr. L's arrogance. Luigi is Luigi again, nervous and humble and kind. This suggests that Luigi's true nature, his core self, is strong enough to withstand corruption, that the darkness within him is not his defining characteristic. The existence of Mr. L does not diminish Luigi. Rather, it adds depth to his character, acknowledging that he is not simple or one-dimensional, that he contains multitudes just like any complex person. The fact that Luigi has the potential for darkness makes his choice to be kind and humble and loyal more meaningful, not less. He chooses to be who he is, despite what he could be, and that choice matters. The Year of Recognition. In February of 2013, Nintendo President Satoru Iwata appeared in a Nintendo Direct presentation wearing a green cap similar to Luigi's. He announced something unprecedented. 2013 would be designated the Year of Luigi, commemorating the 30th anniversary of Luigi's first appearance in Mario Bros. This announcement was significant not just for Luigi as a character, but for what it represented about Nintendo's evolving understanding of their audience's affection for the green plumber. The Year of Luigi was, in many ways, an acknowledgement that Luigi had earned his place as more than just Player 2. Nintendo scheduled multiple games featuring Luigi in prominent roles, created Luigi-themed merchandise, and launched marketing campaigns specifically celebrating the character. For 1 year, Luigi would step out of his brother's shadow and into the spotlight. The year began with Mario and Luigi Dream Team, released in July 2013 for the Nintendo 3DS. This was the fourth entry in the Mario and Luigi RPG series, and while it featured both brothers as playable characters, Luigi's role was particularly important. The game's plot revolves around Pielo Island and the World of Dreams, and Luigi's dreams specifically become a key gameplay mechanic. Players literally enter Luigi's unconscious mind, exploring his subconscious and using his dreaming self to solve puzzles and battle enemies. Dream Team's exploration of Luigi's psychology was unprecedented in its depth. The game treated Luigi's inner world with respect and curiosity, showing it as rich and complex, full of creativity and hidden strength. Giant Luigi, the powerful form Luigi takes in his dreams, represents his unconscious self-image, how he sees himself when freed from the constraints of waking doubt and fear. It was a beautiful treatment of the character, suggesting that Luigi, deep down, knows his own worth even when he struggles to demonstrate it while conscious. Luigi's Mansion. Dark Moon, released in March 2013 for the Nintendo 3DS, continued Luigi's adventures in ghost hunting. This was the long-awaited sequel to the original Luigi's Mansion, arriving 12 years after the GameCube original. The game featured multiple mansions to explore, each with its own theme and challenges, and further developed Luigi's relationship with Professor E. Gadd and the mechanics of ghost catching. Dark Moon was a critical and commercial success, proving that the appeal of Luigi's Mansion was not a one-time phenomenon, but a sustainable franchise. The game showed Luigi growing slightly more experienced with ghost hunting while maintaining his fearful nature. He knew what to expect now, which made the anticipation of each new encounter all the more dread-filled. There is something particularly brave about facing something you know will be terrible, and Dark Moon captured that beautifully. New Super Luigi U, released in June 2013 as downloadable content for New Super Mario Bros. U, was particularly significant. This was an entire game, or rather an entire expansion, where Mario was completely absent. Luigi was not just the second player or the alternative choice. He was the only option, the sole protagonist. The levels were redesigned specifically for Luigi's different jump height and physics, creating challenges tailored to his unique movement abilities. This might seem like a small thing, but it was actually huge. For 30 years, Luigi had been the alternative, the backup, the one you played as when Mario was not available. Now, here was an experience that required Luigi, that was designed around him, that acknowledged him as essential rather than supplementary. New Super Luigi U was not just a palette swap of a Mario game. It was Luigi's game, and it could not exist in the same form with any other character. Dr. Luigi, released in December 2013 for the Wii U, continued this trend of giving Luigi his own distinct experiences. This was a puzzle game in the style of Dr. Mario, but with a Luigi twist. The capsules were L-shaped rather than simple two-piece structures, changing the puzzle-solving dynamics significantly. It was a small touch, but it reinforced the idea that Luigi-centric experiences should be mechanically distinct, not just cosmetically different. Super Mario 3D World, while featuring multiple playable characters, including Mario, also participated in the Year of Luigi celebration. The game included numerous references to Luigi throughout its levels, with hidden Luigi sprites appearing in various locations. Players who completed the game or owned save data from New Super Luigi U could unlock Luigi Bros., a retro-style game based on the original Mario Bros., but with Luigi as the main character. Throughout the year, Nintendo released significant amounts of Luigi-themed merchandise. A special Luigi edition Nintendo 3DS XL was made available, colored in Luigi's iconic green. Club Nintendo, Nintendo's loyalty program at the time, offered various Luigi-themed rewards, including pins, coins, posters, and a soundtrack selection. The company even decorated a train in Chicago, the Luigi Line, to promote New Super Luigi U, transforming public transportation into a rolling advertisement for the green plumber. Nintendo of America produced a mockumentary-style video called Finding Luigi, Legend of Parkour, showing Luigi attempting to master parkour in a humorous, self-aware way. The company also temporarily changed the Club Nintendo website to a Luigi theme, with modified logos and green color schemes. For this 1 year, Luigi was everywhere, unavoidable, celebrated. But perhaps the most significant aspect of the Year of Luigi was not any specific game or piece of merchandise. It was the message the celebration sent. Nintendo was acknowledging, officially and publicly, that Luigi mattered. That there was an audience who wanted Luigi's stories. That he was worthy of his own games, his own spotlight, his own year of celebration. The response from fans was overwhelmingly positive. Players who had grown up as the younger sibling, who had always been player 2, who saw themselves in Luigi's nervous demeanor and overlooked accomplishments, felt validated. Luigi's year was their year too, an acknowledgement that the ones who stand in shadow, who support from the sidelines, who struggle with fear and self-doubt, are also worthy of recognition and celebration. Sadly, the Year of Luigi was not without controversy. In late October 2013, Danny Wells, the actor who portrayed Luigi in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show in the late 1980s, passed away. His death cast a shadow over the celebrations, a reminder that Luigi's journey had been long and had touched many lives across multiple media and generations. As the Year of Luigi drew to a close in March 2014, there was some uncertainty about what it had accomplished. The Wii U, Nintendo's console at the time, was struggling in the marketplace, and while the Luigi games were well received critically, they could not single-handedly reverse the console's fortunes. Some marketing initiatives fell flat or received limited engagement. The year, for all its celebration of Luigi, did not fundamentally change the commercial landscape or make Luigi as recognizable and marketable as Mario. But in terms of character development, in terms of acknowledging Luigi's importance and potential, the Year of Luigi was invaluable. It gave Luigi opportunities to shine, created experiences that centered his character, and demonstrated to Nintendo that there was appetite for Luigi-focused content. The year planted seeds that would bear fruit in later releases, including Luigi's Mansion 3 in 2019 and the continued inclusion of Luigi in prominent roles across Nintendo's franchises. In Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo, 3DS and Wii U, Luigi's trophy description mentions that the attention from the Year of Luigi made him even more shy and awkward. This is a beautiful touch, acknowledging the year while staying true to Luigi's character. Of course, being celebrated would make Luigi uncomfortable. Of course, suddenly being the center of attention would increase rather than decrease his nervousness. He is not someone who craves the spotlight, and being thrust into it, even for positive reasons, would be overwhelming for someone of his temperament. In later games, characters occasionally reference the Year of Luigi. In Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, when Luigi is alone and discouraged, Starlo reminds him that he even had a whole year named after him. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, during Palutena's guidance conversation about Luigi, Pit mentions that he even had his own year. These small callbacks acknowledge the significance of the event while also treating it with a touch of melancholy, as if to say, yes, Luigi had his year, but it was just a year, and now we return to normal. The Year of Luigi represents a high watermark for the character, a moment when he was truly recognized and celebrated. But it also highlights the temporary nature of such recognition. 1 year out of 40, 12 months of spotlight in 4 decades of shadow. It was wonderful while it lasted, and it mattered, but it also ended, and Luigi returned to his familiar place beside his brother, supporting, helping, often overlooked, but always present. Luigi in competition and culture. Beyond the games themselves, Luigi has found a unique place in competitive gaming and broader internet culture. His status as the underdog, the overlooked character, has made him a favorite among certain player communities, and his nervous personality has spawned countless memes and cultural references. In the Super Smash Bros. Competitive scene, Luigi has had a fascinating trajectory. In Super Smash Bros. Melee, released in 2001, Luigi was considered mid-tier for most of the game's competitive lifespan, neither particularly strong nor notably weak. However, dedicated Luigi players discovered unique properties of his movement and attacks that, when mastered, allowed for devastating combos. Luigi's down aerial meteor smash, his misfire side special that randomly occurs at high power, and his wave dash, one of the best in the game due to his low traction, gave him tools that skilled players could leverage. In Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, Luigi's competitive viability varied throughout the game's life. Patches to the game altered his properties multiple times, and player opinions on his tier placement fluctuated accordingly. What remained constant was that Luigi, in the right hands, could be terrifying. His combo game was exceptional, with the ability to perform zero-to-death combos from a grab at low percentages. This meant that one mistake against a skilled Luigi player could cost a stock entirely. The existence of these zero-to-death combos became somewhat infamous in the Smash community. The phrase, "facing Luigi at 0%, became shorthand for being in extreme danger, for knowing that any misstep would be punished maximally. Combo videos of Luigi's perfectly executing these devastating sequences circulated widely, showing the potential of a character that many casual players dismissed as weak or unimpressive. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Luigi's competitive presence has been perhaps his strongest ever. While his recovery remains a significant weakness, making him vulnerable to gimps and edge guards, his advantage state is among the best in the game. Players like Raru, Luigi, and Navy have achieved remarkable results with Luigi, including winning majors and placing highly at the most prestigious tournaments. Raru, in particular, is often cited as the greatest Luigi player of all time, having won multiple super majors and established Luigi as a legitimate high-tier threat. The success of these Luigi players in Ultimate is notable because it defies conventional competitive wisdom. Luigi's weaknesses are significant. His recovery is exploitable. His mobility is limited. His approach options are few. On paper, against the game's top tiers, he should struggle. But skilled players have demonstrated that Luigi's strengths, when properly utilized, can overcome these limitations. His combo game remains devastating. His frame data is excellent, and his ability to close out stocks quickly makes him a constant threat. This success has led to Luigi rising significantly on community tier lists. While he started Ultimate ranked in mid-tier, he has climbed to A+ tier, top 20 overall, one of the largest rises any character has experienced between tier list iterations. This movement reflects not a change in the character himself, but an evolving understanding of his potential as players pushed his optimization further. Beyond competitive play, Luigi has become a significant figure in internet meme culture. The Luigi Death Stare meme emerged from Mario Kart 8, where Luigi's expression after using certain items or passing other racers appeared unusually intense and malevolent. This single facial animation spawned countless videos, image macros, and jokes about Luigi's hidden darkness, his suppressed rage at years of being second player, his barely contained resentment manifesting in that cold, dead stare. The meme works because it plays against type. Luigi is supposed to be kind and gentle and harmless. Seeing him look genuinely menacing, even if only for a moment, is funny precisely because it contradicts everything we expect from the character. But there is also something cathartic about it for fans of Luigi. For once, Luigi is not nervous or scared. For once, he is the intimidating one, the threat, the one others need to fear. Luigi's presence in various tier list memes has also been significant. While tier lists originated in competitive gaming as objective rankings of character viability, they have evolved into a meme format where any set of things can be ranked into tiers. Luigi frequently appears in these joke tier lists, often in self-aware or ironic positions that comment on his status as the overlooked brother. One particular meme format involves ranking characters by various arbitrary criteria, such as who would pay on a date or who would win in a spelling bee. Luigi typically occupies middle tiers in these lists, rarely the best or worst at anything, maintaining his status as decidedly average, competent, but unremarkable. This placement is itself a kind of joke at Luigi's expense, acknowledging his consistent position as fine but not great, present but not prominent. The Year of Luigi became a meme in its own right, often invoked ironically when Luigi experiences misfortune or is overlooked. When Luigi is not chosen as a character, when he is left out of promotional material, when something bad happens to him in a game, players joke that it is still the Year of Luigi, that he is still being celebrated, even as evidence suggests otherwise. The meme is affectionate, a way for fans to express their continued appreciation for Luigi, even as they acknowledge his perpetually secondary status. In the Smash community, Luigi's taunt in Melee, which can deal damage, spawned the phrase "death by taunt" or "disrespect taunt." Successfully landing Luigi's kick taunt on an opponent is considered the ultimate show of confidence or disrespect, a way of saying that you are so much better than your opponent that you can afford to attack them with a move that is, by design, not meant to be an attack. Compilations of Luigi taunt kills are perennially popular, celebrating the absurdity and humor of defeating someone with Luigi's weakest and most impractical move. Luigi's final smash in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the Negative Zone, became memorable for its bizarre aesthetic and mechanics. The move created a zone around Luigi that affected opponents in various random negative ways, from suddenly falling asleep to moving in slow motion to becoming weaker. The description of the move stated that its power came from Luigi living in Mario's shadow, explicitly acknowledging Luigi's status and turning it into a mechanical game element. This direct acknowledgement of Luigi's shadow status within the game itself was remarkable. Nintendo was not shying away from the dynamic, not pretending that Luigi and Mario were equals. They were recognizing it, naming it, and then turning it into a gameplay mechanic. The Negative Zone was powered by accumulated negativity, by years of being second, by the weight of living in shadow. It transformed Luigi's burden into a weapon. In broader gaming culture, Luigi has become an icon for anyone who has ever felt like the second choice, the backup, the one who tries hard but does not quite measure up to someone else. He represents the experience of being good but not the best, competent but not outstanding, present but not prominent. And for many people, this is more relatable than Mario's effortless heroism could ever be. Luigi is the character for younger siblings who grew up always being compared to their older brother or sister. He is the character for people who work hard but see others receive recognition for seemingly less effort. He is the character for anyone who has stood beside someone more talented, more confident, more successful, and wondered why they bother, while knowing that they will continue to try anyway because that is who they are. This cultural significance extends beyond gaming. Luigi appears in discussions about sibling dynamics in psychology forums. He is referenced in articles about imposter syndrome and anxiety. He is used as an example in conversations about character development and writing complex emotional states. Luigi has transcended his origin as a palette swap to become a genuine cultural figure, someone whose story resonates across media and contexts. The fact that competitive players have elevated Luigi to high-tier status in Ultimate, that dedicated players have proven his viability at the highest levels of play feels symbolically significant. It suggests that the overlooked and underestimated, when given proper support and recognition, can achieve greatness. It validates the experiences of everyone who has ever been told they were not good enough, not skilled enough, not important enough, by demonstrating that with dedication and belief, extraordinary things are possible. Conclusion: finding peace in the shadow. As we reach the end of this exploration, we must ask, what does Luigi's story ultimately tell us? What can we learn from 4 decades of this character's existence, from his humble beginnings as a palette swap to his current status as a beloved icon in his own right? Luigi's story is fundamentally about living with fear and insecurity while still choosing to act. It is about loving someone deeply, even when that love comes with the cost of constant comparison. It is about finding your own identity when the world seems determined to define you only in relation to someone else. It is about the quiet courage that comes not from an absence of fear, but from moving forward despite it. Luigi has never stopped being afraid. Across 3 Luigi's Mansion games, across dozens of other adventures, Luigi remains scared of ghosts, nervous in dangerous situations, trembling when faced with the unknown. This is not a character flaw that he overcomes through personal growth or development. It is part of who he is, woven into his personality, an inseparable aspect of his character. But Luigi has also never let his fear stop him from doing what is necessary. When Mario is in danger, Luigi enters haunted mansions. When the world needs saving, Luigi stands alongside the heroes. When duty calls, Luigi answers, even when his voice shakes, even when his knees knock together, even when every instinct screams at him to run. This is the essence of true courage, and it is what makes Luigi not just sympathetic, but genuinely heroic. Luigi's relationship with Mario is complex and imperfect, filled with love, but also tinged with the inevitable challenges that come from unequal recognition and opportunity. But what is remarkable about Luigi is that this complexity has never curdled into genuine resentment or bitterness. Even Mr. L, the brainwashed version of Luigi that represents his shadow self, is more about craving recognition than harming Mario. When Luigi is himself, when he is in control of his own actions and choices, he consistently chooses loyalty and support. This choice matters. Luigi could resent Mario. Given his circumstances, given the way he has been overlooked and underestimated for 40 years, resentment would be understandable, perhaps even justified. But Luigi chooses love. He chooses brotherhood. He chooses to support and celebrate Mario's successes, even when doing so means remaining in shadow. This is not weakness or lack of self-respect. It is a profound expression of character, a decision to be defined by his love rather than his grievances. Luigi has achieved recognition in his own right through the Luigi's Mansion series and other games where he is the protagonist. These experiences have not fundamentally changed who he is. He remains nervous, humble, slightly awkward, but they have shown that Luigi can carry his own adventures, that he has stories worth telling that are distinct from Mario's, that there is an audience who wants to experience the world through his eyes. The Year of Luigi, for all its commercial ups and downs, represented something important: acknowledgement. For 1 year, Nintendo said explicitly that Luigi mattered, that he was worthy of celebration, that his contributions deserved recognition. This acknowledgement, though temporary, had lasting impact. It validated fans who had always appreciated Luigi. It demonstrated to Nintendo that there was appetite for Luigi-focused content. It gave Luigi opportunities to shine that might not have existed otherwise. In competitive Smash Bros., Luigi's rise to high-tier status through the skill and dedication of his players is almost poetic. The overlooked character, the one dismissed by many as weak or unimpressive, proven viable at the highest levels of play. It is a vindication, a demonstration that potential exists even in the most unlikely places, that dedication and skill can overcome perceived limitations. In internet culture, Luigi has become a symbol for everyone who has ever felt like the second choice, the backup, the one standing in someone else's shadow. His nervous personality, his struggles with confidence, his quiet determination have made him one of the most relatable characters in gaming. People see themselves in Luigi in ways they could never see themselves in Mario, and that connection has kept Luigi relevant and beloved across decades of technological and cultural change. Luigi's story is not about overcoming his nature or transcending his circumstances. It is not about finally defeating his fears or stepping permanently out of Mario's shadow. Instead, it is about finding peace and purpose within those circumstances, about being the best version of yourself even when the world seems determined to overlook you, about choosing to be kind and loyal and brave even when you are afraid. In the end, Luigi remains player 2. He is still the one you choose when Mario is not available. He is still the helper, the supporter, the one who stands slightly to the side. But he has also become so much more. He is a fully realized character with depth and complexity. He is a hero in his own right, with his own adventures and accomplishments. He is a symbol for millions of people who see in him something of themselves, who find comfort and inspiration in his nervous courage and persistent loyalty. Luigi has not escaped his shadow, but he has learned to live within it, to find light there, to make it his own space rather than simply Mario's negative. He has found his voice, quiet though it may be, trembling though it sometimes is. He has carved out his own identity while maintaining the relationships and values that define him. He has become, in the truest sense, himself. And perhaps that is the ultimate lesson of Luigi's story. We do not need to be fearless to be brave. We do not need to be first to be important. We do not need to escape all shadows to find light. We need only to keep moving forward, to choose love over resentment, to act despite fear, to be true to ourselves even when the world seems to value something else entirely. Luigi is not Mario, and he never will be. But he does not need to be. He is Luigi, and that is enough. It has always been enough. It always will be. As you drift off to sleep tonight, perhaps you might think about the green plumber, about his trembling courage and gentle heart, about his loyalty and his fear and his determination. Perhaps you might think about the ways you stand in shadow, the fears you carry, the comparisons you face. And perhaps, like Luigi, you might find comfort in knowing that being second choice does not make you less valuable, that being afraid does not make you less brave, that living in someone else's shadow does not mean you cannot shine in your own unique way. Thank you for joining me on this quiet journey through Luigi's story. If you have found something here that resonates, something that brings comfort or insight, or simply a moment of peace, then consider sharing this with others who might need it. And remember, wherever you are, whatever shadows you might stand within, you are not alone. Luigi is there with you, trembling but determined, afraid but moving forward, forever. Player 2, and forever, truly, a hero. If you have enjoyed drifting through this story tonight, consider subscribing for more quiet journeys through Nintendo's worlds.